I met Woon-Hing at UBCO while we were both doing our fine arts degree program, and we became very good friends. Woon has lived in Kelowna since 1989. She has an 82-year-old father and a 14-year-old daughter. She was the sole provider for both her father and her daughter. She has been working on her fine arts degree for close to 17 years. Last spring, when she was preparing for graduation, she was diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer. When we heard this news, my friend Barbara Morin and I chatted and thought we had to do something. Being an artist, the one big dream is to have your own solo show. This art show started with the thought that we would have 2 or 3 artists, maybe a half dozen pieces of fine art. And it grew through word of mouth, through art communities around the area, to more and more artists getting involved. It grew so that we ended up with over 250 pieces of art. We realized that with the quantity of art that we had and the price value of these pieces, in the range of $2,000, some of them, that we said, well, the only way to do this would be credit cards to make this work, so that we could raise more money for Woon. I went to a number of banks. I was told that there was too much red tape, too many hurdles to get through before we'd be able to use credit cards at this event. We were in a time crunch and we were brushed off.
After Terry told me that she wasn't having any success getting credit cards to be able to be processed, I, just without telling her even, went and emailed Paulette, the president of Valley First, and said, I don't know if there's anything that you can do to help, and this is the situation. I told her about Woon. The next thing I knew was the next morning I had an email back from Paulette telling me to expect a call from Angela.
After Paulette was contacted by Steve Tuck, I contacted Mr. Tuck myself to find out what the situation was and how we could help. We looked at it as a really great opportunity to jump into action, and we contacted our account rep at Moneris. Because of the relationship that we have with her, we were able to, explain the situation and just figure out a way to roll up our sleeves and get it done. So we involved staff from the marketing department, we involved Moneris, we involved our branch staff, one of our branches in Kelowna, and just made all the right inquiries to find out how we could make this happen.
Most of the people there paid by credit card for any of the pieces that they took home in the silent auction, and we ended up with over $15,000 raised that one night, and it was just remarkable.
I think one of the great parts of this story was that the Moneris people, they agreed to waive the setup fees in getting this credit card transaction established, and then Angela told me that Valley First would reimburse all of the transaction fees. So the end result was that 100% of all the funds that were raised actually wound up going to Woon.
When we gave the check to Woon-Hing, we didn't tell her how much we were giving to her at the time, and so we just sort of handed her over this check, and she looked, and her eyes were just huge, almost as big as that night when she walked into the room to see everyone there.
Valley First has a great culture of being able to be nimble, make those common sense decisions on the ground in the communities that we serve. And that's because we live here too. Our staff are involved in the communities and want to find a way to help. So when something like this happens, you don't really think about it. You just roll up your sleeves and do it. And so I feel a great sense of pride for what our team was able to accomplish by working together.
Woon wasn't afraid of dying. And I think that she got peace of mind knowing that her daughter, Faye, and her dad were well looked after and had good memories of her last days with them. And that wouldn't have been possible if she didn't have that extra money.